Mornings with ESPN normally. I'm Mike Greenberg, Laura Rutledge. We're here from Get Up, and we are delighted to have Jay Williams and Jalen Rose and Stephen A. Smith with us this morning as we will spend this morning remembering Kobe Bryant, one of the great heroes and one of the great stars in the history of American or international sports. And we will hear from all of these analysts and friends of Kobe Bryant in just a moment. TJ Holmes from ABC News has been on site covering the events for us, and he joins us now from Calabasas with the latest. TJ, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Greeny. And you might have seen this yesterday, but the phrase, "Dear God," was trending on Twitter. People were saying, "Dear God, not Kobe. Dear God, don't let this be true." People essentially in disbelief that this global icon, this cultural icon could be gone. The investigation into the crash, which happened in the hills of this neighborhood behind me, is underway now. But what we do know is that Kobe died doing something that he has done countless times, take a helicopter to get around LA. And he died doing something he loved. He was taking his daughter to her basketball game.
Shock and heartache around the world at the news. Kobe Bryant, dead at 41 years old, killed Sunday when the helicopter he was in crashed in the hills of Calabasas, California. Also on board, his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, and 7 others on their way to Kobe's Mamba Sports Academy in Newbury Park for Gianna's basketball game. Kobe was expected to coach. This photo was taken at the gym filled with kids who had been awaiting Kobe's arrival. They kneeled on the court upon hearing the news. Kobe's helicopter took off from Orange County just after 9 a.m. for what was expected to be a short trip. But at 9:45 a.m., tragedy. The helicopter crashed into the foggy hills.
Visibility 2.5 miles with haze, ceiling 1,100 overcast, temperature 122.8.
Before the crash, the LAPD grounded all police helicopters, saying weather conditions did not meet the standard for flight, though it's unclear if weather played any role in the crash. We are learning this morning there was an unusual rapid loss of altitude and increase in airspeed seconds before the crash. The NTSB and the FBI are both at the crash site investigating. Kobe often used helicopters to get around L.A. Here he is in 2016, even regularly taking his own helicopter to home games during the NBA season.
He loved being in that helicopter. He certainly was never really concerned about it. For him to be gone, particularly through these means, is incredibly tragic.
Just weeks ago, Kobe and Gianna, known as Gigi, were spotted at a Brooklyn Nets game having a father-daughter courtside moment that went viral.
I love this.
Fans showed love for Kobe at the Staples Center, and tributes continue to pour in for the man his fans lovingly call the Black Mamba.
Kobe Bryant has hit a shot at the buzzer!
Former teammate Shaquille O'Neal tweeting, "There's no words to express the pain I'm going through with this tragedy of losing my niece, Gigi, and my brother. I'm sick right now." And Magic Johnson called Kobe the greatest Laker of all time. During Sunday's games, players paid tribute, many of them holding back tears. The San Antonio Spurs and the Toronto Raptors among many of the teams who took a 24-second violation at the start of the game to honor Kobe, who famously wore number 24. The NFL Pro Bowl also quickly turned into a tribute. One of the greatest to ever take the court, the proud father of 4 daughters transcended sports, telling me he wanted a legacy beyond basketball.
That's been what we do. That's not who we are. We've all been something more outside of our craft. And we look forward to continuing to grow and continuing to evolve as people.
And Greeny, the FBI will be joining the NTSB in investigating this crash, and you better believe, yes, that weather, in fact, will be a major part of this investigation. There was heavy fog and some weather conditions that kept the local police here from even putting their helicopters up, so that'll be a part of it. But for now, a lot of just disbelief in trying to understand how this is possible, that this man, not in the prime of his career, but it seems the prime of his life, is now gone, Greeny.
It's TJ Holmes with the very latest from Calabasas. We appreciate this very much, TJ. Thanks.
Yeah.
Now, as TJ mentioned, Kobe and Gianna were on their way to a youth basketball game at the Mamba Sports Academy. On board the helicopter was Orange Coast College baseball coaching legend John Altobelli, his wife and his daughter, Christina Mauser, a basketball coach at an Orange County, California private school and mother of 3. The pilot and 2 other victims remain unidentified. Meanwhile, a source told our Young Masuk that the Lakers found out about Kobe's death while on the team plane flying home from Philadelphia. You see pictures there of a visibly shaken LeBron James wiping his eyes with tissues and walking alone from the Laker plane after it landed in Southern California. And as you saw just a taste of during TJ's piece, grief-stricken players and coaches from around the sport paid their respects to Kobe yesterday. Nearly every team playing yesterday started their game with a 24-second violation as the fans chanted Kobe's name. In Atlanta, Trae Young started the game wearing Kobe's number 8. He committed an 8-second violation before emotionally changing to his regular number 11 jersey. He later hit a half-court shot and pointed to the sky and mouthed the words, "Rest in peace, Kobe." In New York City, Madison Square Garden was lit up in Lakers colors, and inside the arena, Kobe's numbers were shown on the floor before the Knicks faced the Nets. Kyrie Irving did not play in this game, mourning the loss of his close friend. It was a very difficult day for Kobe's basketball family.
You know, I just don't have a lot to say. The news is just devastating to everybody who knew him, known him a long time. And, you know, he means a lot to me, obviously. You know, he was such a great opponent. You know, he had that DNA that very few athletes can ever have.
Today is one of the saddest days in my lifetime. It seems like a bad dream that you just want to wake up from. It's a nightmare. Just a great leader, just a great champion. But I would miss him. I would miss the friendship.
And so that was just a taste of all the reaction from yesterday. Again, Jay Williams, Jalen Rose, and Stephen A. Smith. I saw each of you yesterday on ESPN sharing some personal thoughts on this. And Stephen A., I'll start with you now that you've had a little time to digest this, and I'm sure talking, as you always do, to so many people around the basketball world. What are the thoughts on your mind as we wake up today?
Just pure devastation. You know, it's 24 hours later. Pain hasn't subsided. The sorrow hasn't subsided. You know, to know Kobe, to know what kind of life he planned on having, you know, to know that he's just 41 years of age, so brilliant, so accomplished in so many different things, but still as tenacious, as committed as ever to build a second life for himself, per se. You know, contributing to the sport of women's basketball the way that he had planned to, just raving about his daughter at every turn. You know, he came up to me, came up to Jay-Z and a few others and was like, wait until you see my daughter play. She is something special. He was so proud of her. And to know that, you know, he's gone at age 41, it's just devastating. It's incredibly sad. And then to, on top of that, to know that she was with him at age 13 years of age. And, you know, all of us up here are fathers. And you can just imagine, unfortunately, what the final moments were like. And, you know, knowing him, he probably grabbed her in his arms and said, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Knowing that it wasn't. It's just a devastating thing to imagine. And, you know, speaking of Magic, yesterday, Magic couldn't stop crying. Speaking to Shaq, Shaq was in tears. He was devastated. And, you know, so many others around the NBA community, virtually speechless. And, you know, last time I saw him was New Year's Eve. We were partying together in Bel Air, you know, and he was looking forward to a very, very prosperous 2020. You know, he was sitting up there and congratulating me and, you know, talking about all the fellas up here and beyond and talking about how proud he was of everybody. And then he was like, 1 + 1 = 1 billion. I said, what are you talking about? He said, that's what we go for. That's what we shoot for. It's not just about money. He wasn't speaking about money. He was just speaking metaphorically, like, excuse me, you go for it all. You exhaust every means, every measure imaginable to acquire the aspirations that you have. He was relentless in that regard. That to him was what life was all about, a pursuit of excellence. And to see him gone at age 41 when he had so much more to offer the world, dog devastation.
You know, Jalen, you were a peer. You faced him, for those not aware. Jalen, you played against him in the NBA Finals. You were playing against him in maybe his most famous game ever when he scored 81 points. And I actually saw a story this morning that he was interviewed in high school while he was in high school and said that Jalen Rose was his favorite player, which I can only imagine how you reacted when you heard that. What are your thoughts, and what could